Eminence. Go throw them knees up in the air.
9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack up. Rushing like a bullet into the end zone. Defense, hold up, no scoring in the red zone. Throwing up pick 6, I feel like I'm Josh Rowe. Throwing downs over the shoulder, think I'm Jack Winmo. I need me back to back, trying to be like Vulture. Cause a storm, cause I'm mighty, it's in the culture. Esports TV, YouTube, Twitch, SFL Live, tuning you don't wanna miss. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack them. Next level like my entertainment. NXT on a stream, 8 p.m. on a beat. Catch me on the cam like I'm SFL commish. Yeah, you only got one chance, you can never miss. For the glory, revolution, feel my fury. Cause I'm a legend out in Canton, and I'm playing with dragons. I'm the king of this legion. SFL action, tuning this season. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack. I've been waiting all week for some SFL action. On a big screen, I feel like I'm Ashley Jackson. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 3, man, what's happening? Touchdown, championships trying to stack.
What is up, SFL Nation, and welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J.Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And of course, I am joined with my good friend, Diggy. How are you?
Good. Been busy.
Hey, trust me. You got 4 kids. I understand why. Look. Well, thank you for making time for me as usual, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
We got a great show planned for you guys tonight. First, we're going to be going over week 4 review and picks for week 5. Then I actually have my hot topic question from TJ Harper and Beast Mode Mojo. They asked if we should start an Ask the Commissioner thread in our Discord server. You know, just be able to kind of ask some different questions that kind of come off the top. Also, special guests for by 4th and Goal interviews will include Biff Marcum from San Diego, Chris Porter from Canton, and Chad Stinson from, he's a defensive coordinator over there in the Alamo City Artillery. You got to slow that down. There's no way. Just so you know, your thing was flashing. If you send me a still shot of yourself, like just a random picture, I'll just put it there. Okay.
All I got to do is shut the camera off and turn it right back on.
Okay, cool. Love it.
I don't know what you've done to this thing. It all was you for 2 weeks, and now you pushed it off on everybody else, trying to get everybody's computer sick over here.
He's stupid.
See? Look. Come on.
Nuts, man. Nuts. But here is how week 4 went down.
Monday nights battled Canton Classics, and Canton came out victorious 21-16. Alamo City Artillery took on the DC Dragons, and DC won 30-13. Las Vegas Fury took on San Diego Mavericks, and Las Vegas won 34-27. Jacksonville Kings versus the Atlanta Swarm, and Atlanta won 27-12. Minnesota Legends battled the Vancouver Legions, and Vancouver Legion won 23-13. Mexico City Aztecs took on the Charleston Predators, and Mexico City won 17-12. Seattle Nemesis battled the Los Angeles Vikings, and Seattle won 23-20. Indianapolis Ramblers took on the Louisiana Revolution, and Louisiana won 35-24. Fort Worth Toros battled the Carolina Skyhawks, where Carolina won 37-24. Motor City V8s took on the Arizona Scorpions. Arizona won 27-20. And lastly, the Florida Storm battled the Portland Fleet, and Portland won 26-14.
So, Diggy, tell us. I was 5-6 this week. Tell us who's winning now, and what are our current Was I Right scores?
All right. Yeah, you went 5-6. I went 6-4. Yeah.
Okay. It's about damn time.
That's okay. It's okay. But my total's 19 out of 37. You're 22 out of 37.
Okay.
It's okay. You know, we both tied 1 week and we both won a week. So if you just will get your stuff to where, you know, you pick more than one game different than me, I might have a chance to come back here.
Or you could just get all of them wrong, and then it'll be a clean sweep. You won't have to worry about it.
We'll figure it out. But I got a feeling you and I are going to pick quite a few different teams this week, just from how things have been rolling and looking. So,
and just so everybody knows, look, this is mine. Everything's all nicely highlighted, so he can't say that I was just changing stuff. But so week 4 breakdown. Now, I decided to go, well, we always choose like maybe 3 different teams to kind of break down their week, things that stuck out to us the most. And this week for me was Minnesota versus the Vancouver Legion. Now, Vancouver did win 23-13. Vancouver's defense put on a dominating performance for the first half of the game and held Minnesota to 6 points until 1 minute, 23 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Minnesota having the ball with less time and not scoring at all in the first half was their downfall in this game to me. Minnesota had 254 yards passing, 24 yards rushing with 278 yards total. Time of possession was 17 minutes and 28 seconds and 1 mistake. Minnesota scored 3 points in the third quarter and 10 points in the fourth quarter. Now, Vancouver had 260 yards passing, 82 yards rushing for 342 total. Time of possession was 26 minutes and 32 seconds with no mistakes. Clean game. Vancouver scored 7 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the second, and 10 points in the fourth quarter. Player of the game was Chris Curtis, wide receiver, 12 receptions, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, and 12.9 yards per reception. Now, shout-outs include Minnesota's wide receiver, Jay Taylor, for his touchdown, and on defense, Max Knight, old Arizona Scorpion. He had a sack, and Derek Meerkat came up with 10 total tackles, where Vancouver's Robert Redford and Chris Curtis had scoring touchdowns each. Surprise Brett Killian didn't get one, but, you know, everybody has an off game at times, and Drew Hamilton had an interception, as well as Gerald Udicessi and Calibre Walmack. If I pronounced your name wrong, please forgive me. They both had a sack each. So interesting game there. What did you have?
I'm just going to shut my camera off.
That's
fine. I sound okay?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All right. It did this update thing before we started, so that might be it. I have no idea.
I think so too, because mine did the same thing when it was having issues. But you're all good.
So I think the first game I did was Seattle versus the Lycans. Seattle was looking, good, getting her up early, 10-0. Carroll had a huge kick return for a touchdown, followed up with a field goal later to make it 13-10. At the end of the second, Sully finds Carroll in the end zone to give the Lycans the lead, 13-17. But it was short-lived as Blanton hit Truth in the end zone to end the half 20-17. There was 2 minutes left in the game. Both defenses really stepped up in the second half, but the Lycans forced Seattle to punt. Lycans were moving and had a costly interception right there at the end by Amar Bryant Jr., who found enough space to return it deep enough to get Seattle in prime position to make one more play to get them, into field goal position to to win the game, 23-20. Congrats to Seattle on the win, and it was a good game. It was a good fun one. One that came down to the very last few seconds and last couple of possessions. So if you kind of push that one to the side, you missed out. So
I agree. My next game was Indianapolis Ramblers taking on Louisiana Revolution. Again, the Revs won 35-24. Now, while Indy was able to score in all quarters, Louisiana scored more when they did have the ball during the second and the fourth quarters, which made all the difference in the world in this game. Louisiana also, their third down conversions was outstanding at 70% compared to Indy's 54%. Louisiana had a more balanced game and had the ball longer, which gave them more chances to make those key plays when necessary to win this game. Indy had 380 yards passing, 34 yards rushing for 414 yards total. The time of possession was 19 minutes, 47 seconds, one mistake. Indy also had scored 7 points in the first quarter and second quarter, and 3 points in the third quarter, and 7 points in the fourth quarter. Louisiana had 291 yards passing, 188 yards rushing for 479 yards total. Time of possession was 23 minutes, 21 seconds with one mistake. Lou scored 21 points in the second quarter and 14 points in the fourth quarters. Player of the game was Randy Squarebush, running back, 32 attempts, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 19 reception yards. Now, shout out to Indy's Colin Pierce, quarterback, with 35 completions out of 50 attempts, 380 yards passing, a touchdown, and was able to give touchdowns two to Randy Pierce, and the other 2 were to Ryan Roosevelt. And Ryan also ended up with 181 yards, averaging 13 yards per reception. On defense, Chad McDermott had 1 interception, and Blake Prime had 11 total tackles. Now, on Louisiana's side of the ball, Tommy Utah had a great game, having 20 completions out of 24 attempts. Awesome. That is a 83% passing percentage. He had 291 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and Liam Hammer had 2 of those touchdowns for 156 yards. John Michael Sutter also had a touchdown in this game. Evan Arthur had an interception. Blake Craze came up with a sack, and Tank Bennett had 12 total tackles. Now, Mike Ryan had 1 touchdown saving tackle to help keep Indy out of the end zone, but I would like to see more productivity out of Mike Ryan, excuse me, as he seemed to have slipped off a little bit, especially in comparison to last season. Still got a lot of season to go, but I would like to see more out of him. Who do you have next?
Florida versus Portland. Again, a shout out to Kamish, Cam, and Paul Sarp for another amazing show. I'm really loving it and what's going on with these games here. And shout out to Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis as well. Another good halftime show, and I really enjoy it. I mean, it's like a 3-hour game, but everything they wrap up in there has been great to see, the reviews and everything. So even if you can't catch a game, Cam's been doing a heck of a job on reviewing the games before the game starts. But into the game here, Florida's defense held Portland in the red zone, making them settle for field goals early, making it 0-6 to end the first. Love really put some work in this game, and he continued to do so in the second as he broke for the red zone to make it 0-13 over Florida. Jive hit Lozano Jr. for a touchdown, 0-19, but Florida came alive after that with E.J. Minson scoring their first points of the game to make it 7-20. Florida just kind of refused to roll over and die as they came back in the third even more to make it 14-20. But, the Fleet scraped up a field goal to get it to 14-23. then got another after a great break by Love again, who continued to show out most of the game. 14-23. Portland's defense looked great this game with 6 picks as they secured the win. But, you know, they put up a fight, and both defenses really stepped up in the second half. So,
And that's what you like to see. You like to see those great defensive battles, you know? Last one with the ball wins, all that good stuff. But this Motor City V8s versus Arizona game was a heck of a fight the whole game. Now, Motor City came in well prepared for us. They even dominated for a while. Their third down conversions was at 64% in comparison to Arizona's 50%. Arizona made a lot of mistakes on offense with the 4 interceptions, 4 interceptions by yours truly, 1 fumble by DJ. But we were able to score when it mattered the most with big plays. And the defense having our backs like sweaters helped us win this game. Outcome may have been different if defense didn't show up that night. Motor City V8s had 237 yards passing, 67 yards rushing, 304 yards total. Time of possession was 23 minutes, 3 seconds, 4 mistakes. Arizona had 267 yards passing, 113 yards rushing, 380 yards total. Time of possession was 20 minutes, 57 seconds, with 5 turnovers. Player of the game was myself. 14 completions out of 30 attempts, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 71.8. Now, Motor City shout-outs included Christopher Dean and Phil Cross with 1 touchdown. Big shout-out goes out to King Rashid for his 2 interceptions. That man seemed to be in every lane that I was throwing. It was crazy. Like he had magnets or something. David Leathers and Kane Vasquez each had an interception as well. I'll be happy to sign those balls, fellas, if you would like me to. Even Sabo Kanana, please forgive me, Sabo, for his forced fumble on DJ. Dakota Butts and Matthew Holford had their sack lunches on me as well. Now, AZ, TJ Punk, Connor Weston, and Ryan Owens walked away with touchdowns. Brian even caught a 65-yard bomb towards the end zone towards the end of the game that kind of sealed the deal. And on defense, Parker Thomas had 2 interceptions. Everett Garrison and Eddie Gage coming in with 1 interception as well. Hunter Norwood, David Tilley, and Sean Moore all received sack lunches on Motor City's quarterback as well. So great game to watch. And I think, Diggy, you got one more, right?
yeah, I got one more, but while you're talking about that, shout out to Parker as well for that,
Parker.
that last interception in the game to seal it. So good job, Parker. I do have to ask you something since, you know, you busted my chops on a game ago or 2 games ago. Everybody wants to know what you saw on that play when you just blatantly threw it to the white jersey. What did you see? What was that?
Well, you know, obviously I thought he was on the team. You know, he was supposed to be a long time ago. So I guess, you know, my mind got stuck and I was like, oh, he's not on the team. Dang, he was supposed to be though. Motor City, y'all lucky.
Yeah. The last game I did was ACA versus DC.
Okay.
And, you know, that was a good game as well. Alamo City was up early with a touchdown, but Kevin Say rushed in to tie it up at 7th in the first. And on top of that, Shabazz had a great start to that game. He's actually had a really good season so far with accuracy and a couple games where he's had really high completions before something gets, you know, kind of batted down or something. So props to a great start to the season for him. I hope it turns out to be a career season for him. Percoco got herself a great receiving touchdown over the middle to put DC up in the second, 7-14. At the end of the first half, it was 10-21. DC came out and controlled some clock, settling for a field goal as the third ended up with DC being up, you know, 27-10. Only field goals were hit in the fourth as Artillery get their get theirs first. They kicked the first field goal in the fourth, and 13-27. But you know how Pauly is; he's got to get one more in there. You know, so he said, "Watch this." Kicked him one. It ended up being 13-30, but it was a good game. Besides what the final score says, it was still a good game to watch. So it was a lot of good defense in that fourth quarter. So it was good.
All these games are pretty good to watch, you know. I mean, and you can tell the competitive spirits from these coaches that they're getting better, and it's going to be a lot tougher to call these games later on in the season. I think this week 5, when I was doing my pick'ems, I was like, I literally had to flip a coin, literally, because I couldn't decide which one. Um, and matter of fact, let's go into that. So week 5 would include, now this is actually the listing that's on our website, www.simulationfl.net. Houston Headhunters that are 1 and 2 is going against the Fort Worth Toros, which is also 1 and 2. So this is kind of like one of those battle of the Southwest. And I think that Houston is actually going to come up with a win on this one. They're going to be in the stockyard, so it's going to be an away game, but I think they got it.
Okay, let me do this here so I can keep track. So you picked Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling about Houston too. So that's who I decided to go with, was Houston as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Tulsa Desperados will be taking on the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Tulsa is 2 and 1. Sioux Falls is 1 and 2. Now, this is again per the website. So there have been some bye weeks in there. There have been some people that have played a little bit more than others. So if there's any discrepancies, guys, forgive me. But I chose Tulsa on this one.
Like you said, some of these are going to be pretty crazy. I think I'm gonna go Sioux Falls on this one. You said Tulsa?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. Now, keep in mind, everyone, that these games start on February the 10th. All right. All right. So next up, we have Portland Fleet sitting at 2 and 2, taking on the Vancouver Legion. Ooh, at 3 and 1. It's gonna be a good game. Diggy, I'm gonna let you go first.
With what we saw from Portland last week, I liked, but I am going Vancouver this week.
I totally agree. Ezekiel Love, go off all day. I just think that Vancouver's defense is going to be ready for him. So we're going to see how that works out. But Motor City V8s will be that's sitting at 1 and 3. We'll be taking on the Las Vegas Fury, which is sitting at 2 and 1 at Silver State Stadium. Excuse me. So that is going to be a home game for Las Vegas, and they're scary at home. I am choosing Las Vegas, even though they are divisional rivals. I am still choosing them to win this game.
Yeah, I struggled with this one.
Yes.
I did, just due to that fact. I did due to that fact. But I need another win here. So I'm going to pick with you as well on that one. I had Las Vegas winning, but Motor City, if you can use this as a little bit of fire and pull one out, I'm not going to be upset either. So I mean, so let's get it.
Indeed. Carolina Skyhawks sitting at 2 and 1 will be taking on your DC Dragon. Well, your old DC Dragons. They're sitting at 2 and 2 right now. Both of these. This was one of those games I literally had to flip a coin, Diggy, and it came up Carolina. So I had to put Carolina down, man. But this could really go either way.
Yeah, I think this will probably be one of the games of the week here. So, like you said, it really is kind of a coin toss. Carolina has proven week after week, they can get down and come back. And like I've said, since we started the season, they've got some fight in them that you just got to watch them. But DC has proven they're more than just Kevin Say multiple times. And And heck, they've got Stellar had a couple good breaks last week too. So I mean, he's really working out for them in that dual back set they got.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go DC on this one, but like you said, this might come down to who has the ball last or who had better clock management. So it's gonna be a good one.
Definitely, definitely. And that game will actually be on February the 11th, as well as the Charleston Predators sitting at 1-3, taking on the Baltimore Vultures, coming fresh off a bye week, 3-0. Going Baltimore on this one. I guess until I can see somebody has that game plan that's gonna knock them off, I gotta go with Baltimore.
I had Baltimore as well. Now, unlike you, I've picked against Baltimore multiple times this season.
Yeah, and you
So
lost.
if you
So
just want to ride the ride and play it safe with Baltimore, so,
all right, didn't do it this week then. Choose Charleston.
I've done it. I'm saying you ain't done it.
No, because you got to show me. Now, all the time I
Yeah,
probably
you
will.
just don't want that L. That's what that is.
well, can you blame me? You know, the London Knights will be taking on the Arizona Scorpions. London is sitting at 1-2 currently. Arizona is sitting at 4-0. This will actually be our first televised game on NLSC TV Next Level. Primetime game for the Arizona Scorpions. Definitely a must win for us, even though we are 4-0
At home too.
at home. We struggled this last game at home. London is definitely a contender. They have had our number a few times. They beat us passing before, they beat us just running before. But I believe that we have what it takes now to come out victorious. So, Arizona.
I'm going Arizona as well. I'm not gonna pick against my team this week. It'll be a good fight, and like you said, there's some history to it. So, what better game to put on TV?
Indeed. You better show up. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, as long as you don't throw them the ball like last week, I think we'll be okay.
Listen, Pickles and I probably are some of the most interception throwingest quarterbacks in the league, but somehow we get the game won. Come out with the W. I mean, I have some push-ups to do, but at the same time, we won. So take that. Denver Nightwings will be taking on the Queen City Corsairs. Now, Denver is sitting at 1-2, and Queen City is actually 0-3 at this moment. Diggy, who do you have at this game?
Queen City, like you said, has had a bye week already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Denver on this one. Denver's had a lot of good games against some quality teams. I do think QCC will get their first one soon, but I don't think it's this week.
I agree. I'm going with Denver on this one as well. The Louisiana Revolution will be taking on the Florida Storm. Louisiana sitting pretty at 3-1, while Florida is still searching for their first win. And they will be in the I. They lost last week at the I. I think that if Mighty takes over the reins, not to say anything about the coaching staff, sometimes when you're trying different things, like he explained to me that they're trying different looks, they're trying different things over there. But I don't see Florida going 0-5. So I'm gonna choose Florida on this one.
I don't know what the backstory is. You kind of get all that, and with the rules being are what they are, I don't know what they've changed, what they haven't changed, and I do know that you can only make so much change. So if Mighty takes over the reins now, would he need another week to make enough change to make a big difference? So I'm going to give it one more week. I'm going to go Louisiana this week.
Gotcha. The Alamo City Artillery sitting at 2-2. We'll be taking on the Mexico City Aztecs, sitting at 2-2. This is going to be another great game to watch. It's going to probably come down to the wire between these two, but I'm going to give Mexico City the edge on this one, just because Ramos has had more, I think, time with the playbooks and more time in the league to kind of understand the game a little bit more. Not to say anything about the eyes in Alamo City. I mean, they got like about 5 different people watching Sims and running Sims at the same time. So if anybody could beat them, definitely Alamo City. But I'm just going to give the edge to Mexico.
You said they're both at 500.
Yes, another
Uh,
toss up.
yeah, yeah. Having 5 people run Sims and see all that stuff, you kind of get to the point. Well, for me, I'd be like, do I have too many fingers in the pie?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, more eyes the better. I mean, you get somebody looking at stuff and see something you don't see. But I had already marked down Mexico for me on this one.
Okay. And Monday night's game of the week is a fantastic rivalry between the Indianapolis Ramblers and the Minnesota Legends. Indianapolis is at 2-2. Legends is at 3-1. This game is going to take place at Northwood Stadium at St. Paul, Minnesota. So I literally had to toss a coin, um, and it landed on Indy. So I chose Indy.
So they've what faced each other 3 times? 3 times now. Minnesota's won 2 of them. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I believe so. I believe so.
Uh, this this is a good last game of the week, just because I want to see what kind of stuff comes up on Twitter and
Oh my
all
God.
that kind of stuff. They got some good stuff coming.
I do.
So I know Minnesota kind of got it handed to them last week, but there's another level to this rivalry. So I'm gonna go Minnesota on this one.
All right, sounds good. Hold on one second.
And it's obvious we shouldn't be on the same side of the coin on this game. We can't be on the same side of the coin on this. This is a rivalry game. Well, one
True.
has to be one and one has to be the other.
Hold on one second. One second. Okay, you can say that rivalry thing again if you like.
Yeah,
The-
it's you and I both don't need to be on the same side of that game. It's too big of a game for us to both pick the same team. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. Somebody always got to pick the other side.
True.
So I'll pick that one. But I did want to mention again, and they kind of mentioned it in the game that aired with Cam talking was this Carolina DC game is a big game for them. It's whoever wins takes over second place over there. So, and
True.
that's big because when you're in a division with Baltimore, that second spot takes a bigger importance role.
Yeah,
It's kind of like you need it to make sure that you still have a chance to get in to the playoffs.
absolutely.
So
Definitely, definitely. And it's going to be interesting ball to watch either way, And when I tell you, I literally had to flip a coin on like 3 of those games. Definitely. Hot topic question came from TJ Harper and Beast Mode Mojo asking, should we actually have a commissioner's thread in our Discord? Personally, um Cam would sometimes have these community meetings where he would take any questions that you have about anything. Um, you can always DM him. Now he may not get back to you like that same day because of course, he has so much other things to do. But he does get back to you eventually. And so I'm not sure if having that Ask the Commissioners thread would be a good idea in the grand scheme of things because I feel like it may overwhelm him. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a nice thought, but at the same time, why put something else on his plate already? He's already making sure everything's set with the playbook stuff and helping out with that. He's already, trying to help out with the game we're transitioning over to. He's already, helping appear on shows. He's already, doing other stuff, helping announce games and setting up broadcasts and meetings for everybody to make sure their schedule's cleared so he can make all this stuff up, plus what he does for the league outside of what we know he does. So on that, I've already told Cam before when I first got in this league. He has an open door policy pretty much. Send him a DM. You can send him a DM. Like you said, it may be a little bit before he gets back to you, but he'll get back to you. And I told him, I appreciated that, and it meant a lot that somebody, quote unquote bottom tier can still message up and get a response, or hey, it's not a problem, just do this, or hey, ask this person because of that. And there's other chain of command type things you can follow. You can ask your coach and stuff like that. But if you had an idea, you can always ask the co-commish. I've never had a problem sending the co-commish any DM either, and him getting back to me. He was polite and all that, and it goes a long way. So I get people have it would be saved questions that people wouldn't have to ask. That even if that thread existed, it's not going to matter. Nobody scrolls up. Well, some people do, but not many people scroll up and read. I could post something right now, and 30 minutes from now, somebody's going to say, well, what about this? Well, did you scroll up and read the combo you missed? No. I mean, it's going to be asked no matter what. And you already know through the jobs you've worked in your personal life, you just have to take everything with a grain of salt. You may think, man, this person's ignorant or whatever, but they don't realize you've been asked the same question 30 times, right? You just have to take it as, okay, well, it's new to them. This is what it is. So it's a good thought, but I don't think there's too many people in this community willing to help answer questions, or that you can reach out to and ask that Cam could answer. And if it's a question that you don't think they could answer, just wait a little bit, because Cam's constantly releasing stuff now about the new game coming out. Not the new game, it's the old game, but the game we're switching to, and kind of answering those questions as well. So
Exactly.
If it's an idea, run it. I mean, you don't have to bother Cam with it if you didn't want to. If it's an idea, ask your coach, and they can bring it up at the owner's meeting. Or your owner, ask your owner. They can bring it up for you at the owner's meeting, because you never know, your idea that you had, they'll give you credit for it, but the idea that you had may have more weight to it coming from somebody else that's had some weight to their name, to be like, hey, this was brought up to me. I don't think it's that bad. Well, hey, if this person's been here for a while, they do all this, and they think it's a good idea, maybe I should look at this a little bit. So there's multiple ways. But I don't think we should do that. No.
Now, before we kick it to Fourth and Goal interview, one thing I should mention too: if you go on the website, there is a I think it's like call the commissioner tab, and he literally has a calendar, and you can choose a day where he will call you. You give him your information, your phone number, and he will call you, set up like a 30-minute meeting, and then you can have that personal one-on-one time with him. And he's very good at keeping his appointments too. But trust me, I've had plenty of appointments with him. So
messaging and data rates all apply, plus an extra $2.95 a minute. So you better make sure it's important.
Nuts. All right, we're kicking it to the Fourth and Goal interviews coming right up. What is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with my Fourth and Goal interview featuring a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Porter. He is the defensive coordinator for the Canton Classics, as well as their defensive end that you should look out for, because he's tackled me a couple times. But how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'll say, what up, though? He be like, you stealing my stuff. No, what
Okay.
up, everybody? Though, how y'all doing?
Oh man. Doing good. It's been a while since I had you on.
Yeah.
And so tell me, what's been going on with you, man? What's been going on with life? How's real life been treating
Mm, real life's going good. Like right now, I'm in school, going to school for cybersecurity. So I'm just surviving that, trying to get through it. And then after that, I got to take the C plus. And so I did just raising kids. And then I'm like defense coordinator in this league, coach a couple basketball leagues. So that's my thing, just staying active.
Obviously, I'm trying to figure out where you get all that time from in the day to be able to do all of that, bro.
Time management.
Hey, good deal. And you're still doing your interviews for Poe Politicking, right?
Yeah. I got some interviews tonight, and then y'all can always check the YouTube or the Twitch, Spotify, Amazon, listen to the old interviews, past interviews. So yeah, I just stayed with that. And this is actually the 15th year of me doing pole politicking. So just kind
Wow.
of doing that. And then also Leo Jefferson that plays for Atlanta, defensive tackle. We got a podcast called Just Two Black Brothers. So we're not affiliated with SFL, so just make sure you know that when you listen to the podcast. I want y'all think
Okay.
we're affiliated because we be doing all kind of stuff on there. Yeah,
But that's good, man. That's good that you branched out, I didn't even know you've been doing that for 15 years though. That
yeah.
is a
Started a
long
long time
time.
ago. Interviewed a lot of artists. I be forgetting people I interviewed sometimes till I look them up. Like, oh yeah, I interviewed them. But yeah, I've been doing it for a while. A lot of networking, and now it's like I just gotta, like can't really stop. It's probably with you. Like once you get to a certain point, it's like you can't really stop because if you stop, people gonna ask you about it all the time. Like, what's going on with this? So at the
Yeah.
point of no return now. So now I just got to keep doing it till I die, I guess. Yeah.
Hey man, well it's good quality. It's a good quality product that you're putting out, positivity, getting to know people, things of that nature. So I like it. And I hope that, if you give me the link to the description, the link, I'll put it in the description so people can come check it out too. Love
Cool.
you, support you, man. But so now being the defensive coordinator for Canton and having all these responsibilities, you said time management was one of the secrets in how you'd be able to do all of that. Um, you guys I think you guys ended 6-6 last season by
Right.
500, and now you're 2-2. So, what do you think changed from last season to now for you to be at 500 so early in the season? And how far do you think that's going to go for you guys?
Hmm. What changed? Me personally, what I think changed is like the first couple of games, we had a lot of extra people in the mix with the coaching. And then like how we start after the last first 4 games, me and Mike started just me and him focusing, getting it together. And I think we have a good relationship now. So we trust each other. And then with me, I was just thinking like I just been like I've been playing football or playing football games since I was 8.
Mhm.
So I pretty much understand the game of football. And I also been doing stats since I've been in the league. So I understand this game. I understand what people gonna try to do. And I know I was just got upset because we didn't beat you, but we did get 3 picks, so I was kind of happy. But I did want the W. But yeah, nobody came to me about them 3 picks we got on y'all. Though. But yeah, we got those 3 picks.
I
Did have any picks? Have anybody gave up? Have you gave it any more picks like that so far in the other games?
No, it's all of y'all. And see, the
Man,
thing is,
man,
it's
nobody paid attention to that. Like nobody, they should have saw that. Like, damn, they picked them off 3 times, but nobody saw that. So now this London game is a surprise. All of a sudden, if they would have saw that game and like, damn, they had 3 picks. The defense is for real, but nobody else said they were sleeping on it. So hey, sleep.
You know what? It's crazy because I actually mentioned that on the show. I actually mentioned that, hey, if y'all want me to sign those balls for you that you guys stole from me,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah, I
But
was going
yeah,
for the sack too. We couldn't get no sack though. That's what I wanted. I wanted a sack, a couple picks, but that was a good game. And I think that kind of started us. They helped prepare us for the season because we was like basically like I said, 2 or 3, 4 weeks out. We was focused on y'all the whole season. So I came that kind of set the tone. And like I said, we just kept working all off season, and we picked up some pieces. And I think the pieces we have our defense is better. Like, say if we was I wouldn't say we were A. We still got room to make, but we was a B last year. This year we're a B plus. So I say I think we're taking the steps better, but we still need to keep getting our progressions in and keep grinding, and we'll get to an A plus. But right now I'm still saying our defense is a B plus.
I mean, and I respect that definitely. I mean, you can definitely see a change um in the way that you're playing. And I knew for a fact certain teams that will always get picks off us. Doesn't matter how well you try to prepare. It's just that their defense is always ready for that. And they know I like to throw. And so they're going to be in those lanes. They're going to be able to try to jump those lanes and cut and do what they got to do. And so it wasn't a surprise. Who got the picks kind of surprised me because I was thinking it was Bob Funk because I think the last time we played them, he was over in Portland and he wound up getting 4 out of the 6 I threw that game. 7 I threw that game. And we still came out with the win, but it was crazy how one person, like Rochelle Colston, same thing. We play LA. You throw her away, she gonna snag it. I don't know what it is. Like she got, magnets in her gloves or something. It's crazy. But now it's interesting that you mentioned that because you have been in the league for quite a minute. You were a member of the Lincoln Rattlesnakes at one point for the minor leagues. Then you was you stayed with Atlanta you started with Atlanta seasons 15, 16, and 17 and 18. And then you've been with the Canton Classics since then. So tell me about that transition from going from the SFLm, then going to Atlanta, and now being the defensive coordinator and defensive end over here at Canton.
Okay. So the minor leagues was everything was new to me. I didn't even know what was going on. But like even that year, I think I was working with Javier Vasquez, and I want to say Bryant Dynasty was working with us. But that year, I even started doing offensive coordinator. So I was offensive coordinator my first season in for Lincoln. And then I ended up going to Atlanta. And like I said, they got Seed. They got a great program over there. They got Seed. They got Josh. They got Problem. So I'm just under them, seeing how basically like you get to go to a good program, so you get to see how a good organization is ran. And like I said, I was doing the stats the whole time with Mark. And steady while I'm doing all that, usually I'm coaching in the minor leagues. I think this season coming up be the first season I'm not, but most of those seasons I was doing defense for the minor leagues. So like I said, always doing that. And Atlanta was my home. I didn't even want to go nowhere. I thought I was just going to stay in Atlanta forever. But then this opportunity came up, and I like what I was hearing. I like how it's involved with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I'm a fan of Christian. I'm a fan of Adam, Mike. Like I said, I like Mike, Twin Screw, Mike All, Cam, our GM. So we just got a good team, and I like our players. So I think it's the same. Like I didn't go to this organization. It was like, man, I wish I went back to Atlanta. No, I think I made a good move. I like both organizations, but sometimes you got to grow. I wouldn't be able to be a defense coordinator over there. It would took me longer. So I wanted to be a defense coordinator now. So I had to jump off that porch. You sometimes when you kids, you don't want to listen to your mama no more. You gotta go right. So I didn't want to listen to daddy no more. So I had to get off the porch and try here at Canton. And like I said, I like what we have right now, and I'm just trying to grow as a defensive coordinator. Like I know people be trying to come to me for help sometimes, but I'm not at that stage to be helping people. I'm at that stage where I'm trying to be the best. So I ain't really trying to give no advice of how I do what right now. I'll do that when I'm not defense coordinator no more. Maybe when I'm coaching, I'll give advice on defense coordinator. But right now I'm at the competitive stage of this, so I ain't trying to help nobody do nothing. I'm trying to be the best. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now. Like I said, I'm just a fan of football. Even when I played football, I was the one I used to play football, but I used to go home and write the plays down on a paper and look at the plays and stuff like that. So I was just always had a football coach in mind. So yeah, I like doing this. And like I don't know, in my other video, I was telling people that this kind of reminds me of Battleship a little bit. If people play Battleship, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you got to just think about where they're gonna go and put players in that position. So it kind of just reminds me of like an upgraded battleship with football players instead of the little things we had. It's just
Yeah,
football players instead of the whatever the thing was on Battleship.
the little
Little,
pegs. You know, it's funny because I never heard anybody compare it to Battleship before. And
yeah,
you're right, it does have those components to it. You
yeah.
know.
I know. Then sometimes even you can look at it like chess. Like it's kind of
Yes.
like where it's
Yes.
going. Like it's still the same concept. Like you gotta. So I like it. And like I said, yeah, I just want us to have a better season than last. So we do that. I feel like we did our job. Hopefully, we can go to the playoffs and win a few games, and take it from there.
How do you deal with um like controversy and people saying that you guys can't do it, or hey, just the negativity sometimes that comes with playing sports and even being involved as a coach here? Because I feel like when people say that to a player, that's one thing, but I feel like it hits a little different when it's a coach because you put so much time, you put so much effort into what you're doing. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I guess with me, like since I'm involved with so many things in my sim world in my life, like it don't bother me. Like I don't really like because to me it's like I know these are real people, but if I don't like how I'm talking to you now or we really work together, you're not real to me. So, like I don't like if somebody makes a comment about me, but I don't know this person, I don't know nothing about his background, I don't even know who he is. Just like I don't know who this person is, so why should I even let it
Respond.
affect me? So maybe I shouldn't be like that, but yeah, it's like I don't let people get to me. That's just in real life as well. Like if I don't personally like know you and we did some work together, like I don't like that. If it's my team saying that, yeah, I feel a certain way. Or if it's like Eddie or you or people that I know or Dave Axes or Tyler Falk, Cam, yeah. But if it's
Yeah.
like somebody just in the league talking shit and that's all they do, like I don't know you. So I don't like I said, I don't even like to me, and then even the chat, like when it's like too all them, I get anxiety. I can't be in there with all those people chatting, trying to say something. I just that's me in real life. I don't like being around a lot of people, so I don't like being a lot of people in chat. So I
Mhm.
really don't. If you know me, I don't be in chat. I'll talk in my locker room, but I don't be in the chat. So I guess that's how I avoid it. I don't be in the chat. I never
Yeah.
like even before in the minors, I never was in chat. Like I said, I'll talk in my locker room, but I think general chat, that's just too many people for me to be trying to talk to and keep up with. So they pretty much on that. What's that? Mute notifications. I got them on mute
Everybody
notifications.
on mute.
Yeah, basically with me, because shit, like I said, if I don't know you, it don't matter to me. So that's my philosophy.
Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that too. I mean, it does keep you out of a lot of
Yes.
trouble. It
Yeah.
does it does kind of keep you focused on what's important when you're not listening to, the negativity that sometimes arises.
Right. Because sometimes
Um,
I guess yesterday, because I was just like, we won. So something just told me like just search Cannon's name and see what people were saying.
mhm.
So I saw people were saying something. I saw my boy, my homie TJ Flex. He told Foxworth or something. He's like, at least I ain't getting embarrassed by Cannon. So I saw that, and I was just like I said, I don't. Even TJ is my homie, but like I said, I don't. I looked at keep scrolling, see people talking, but
Yeah.
we winning, you see they talking different once we start winning. So even last year, like before we was like can't win, then we won like 6-5 straight. They ain't say that no more, right? We won
Exactly.
5 straight, so you can't call us can't win. We won 5 straight. So that's how I fix it. I fix it through the actions.
And that's where you're supposed to, honestly, because if you don't like what somebody's saying, then okay, well, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. And you guys have been.
Right.
And and I applaud that. I think that some people should definitely take that into consideration even before they respond to something. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to respond to every negative thing because you're just fueling that conversation. And why give it life, you know?
Right.
Especially if it really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So,
Yeah.
um, what is the most important aspect of teamwork and just being a member of an organization to you?
Mhm. I think the most important aspect is you doing your role So whatever your position is, whatever your position on the team, you doing that 100%, but then you doing more. So I think like if you're gonna be a player, yeah, it's good being a player, but you need to help with something else. You need help with stats. You need help with scouting. You need help with social media. Something. Be in the locker room talking all the time. Do something because everybody can't do everything. So if you want to be a team, it's a lot of like roles that's not really, it's other roles that people can take up and help the team get to that next level. And that's if you want to win, you got to have those people on the team, people that can do more than they just do more than what they you got some people they just want to be a player and they don't do nothing else. They just do their progressions and barely talk, but they do their progressions and check in. But if you want to be a winning team, you need more than that. I remember that interview you did with Baltimore and they was all on here talking shit, but you need people like that. Like you need to like they was telling you what to do, so you need like and they seem like they're all bought in and they're all about it, and each one of them was doing more than they was asked to do for the team, and that's why they're winning. So I was listening to them, but they was talking a lot of shit.
Well, that's what I mean. They're the champions, right now, and so I guess, especially Saran. Oh my God.
Yeah, I heard them. I
But
was watching it. I couldn't even say nothing. I was like, I did watch it. I'm like, can't
it's
even
like
say nothing because they winning. Yeah.
right, you can't argue.
Oh,
But so you mentioned this a little bit earlier about the relationship that you and Mike Twin Screw have and building that trust with each other. Not stepping on each other's toes, kind of talking about it, kind of getting things together. How did that relationship start to how did it start? Like, I mean, was it when you first joined Canton, you guys said, hey, we're gonna do this together? Did it have to develop over time, the trust that you guys have for each other?
yeah, I think it had to develop, but it developed through
Yeah.
like I think us going 0-4 and then us sticking together, then getting through that and going winning 5 straight and barely making the playoffs. We almost made it. We didn't make it,
Miss it.
but getting
Just
close,
about
6-6 our
right.
first year. I think that's where everything kind of we formed our relationship. Because, like I said before, when we first started, we had like other people giving advice, but like I said, it wasn't really working. But once me and him kind of got together and focused, that's when our relationship bloomed. And like we said, we still working on it. We still trying to find ways to get better on the team, and we still working. That's all we do. And Mikey, like I said, Michael sim like 12-hour sims all day. So I appreciate all the work he does. 'Cause I know that's a lot of work simming every day. That's a 48-hour work week simming. So I mean, that's how the work he does. So I can't do nothing but appreciate his hard work. Win or lose, like I said, I know people on the team they only see the wins or losers, but they don't see people simming fucking full work week. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's really simming a full work week in overtime. So it's like, man, win or lose, like that's crazy.
You're
So
right.
we just
You're
keep
right.
working at that, and like I said, the offense getting better. I was just happy for like that game, like the whole game, like Rob Johnson, he wasn't making any runs. But then at the end, he ended up sealing the game with his run. So I was like, wow, that it just shows you like you just gotta stay patient sometime and keep fighting. That's why every time we play now, I try not to get mad. I'll be like, I know we like a second half team, so we usually come back in the second half. So we just got to keep it close in the first. So that's what happened. We had some luck fall our way with those fumbles, but I don't even think it was luck. I think he was just running too much and got tired.
Mm-hmm.
He was running the ball too much, so I think he's got tired. That's why he fumbled. So I know they probably thinking it's luck though, but hey.
Yeah. And
No, yeah,
what I
he
did
my
notice.
guy, and then like,
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
no, you got it. What you were saying?
No, I was gonna say I was just looking at your win-loss ratio. Like when you guys do well, when you win the games, it could be by a substantial amount of points. But it seems like when you lose, it it's not necessarily by that much. Maybe you had a couple of games where there was a definite difference. But even like last season, you guys may have lost by only sometimes a field goal, sometimes it's 7 points. So you guys
Yeah,
have never really been out of it. And
I
with
think our
Mike,
biggest loss last year was Lincoln. I mean not Lincoln, London. That was our biggest loss last year. So that's why I felt good beating them because that was our biggest loss.
right,
Yeah.
right. Now, is there any other teams that you're looking forward to playing on your schedule? And it could be one, maybe two teams that you just want to be like, hey, I need this win so we could raise the bar for us coaching wise.
Um, I want to beat London again. Tell you the truth,
Yeah.
I want to beat them twice. Like I said, I don't like how they beat us last year because they beat us like by running, so that was like crazy. Like they just kept running the ball on us, kept beating us. So I thought that was crazy. But London's a good team. We play them again. Let me see who else. San Diego looks like they're up and coming.
Yeah,
I want to try and get a
definitely.
taste of that. They think. I was looking at their team. I was like, man, we play them next after this bye, and I was like, they got a tough team. So, San Diego. I mean, everybody. I'm taking it one game at a time, and like I said,
Yeah.
we lost by. We had one more win, we would have made the playoffs. So, I gotta take these games one day at a time and try to beat every team, and then see where we at. So, every game to me is like a Super Bowl game. So that's how I'm doing it.
Gotcha. Did Canton live up to your expectations when they told you um how things were going to be when the Hall of Fame, the kind of fame and notoriety that comes with Canton, did they live up to that standard for you?
Yes, I think they're doing the best they can do. Christian, like I said, he's doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and now he stepped away from being a player. So I think he's focusing more. And I know we brought Mike Singletary on the fold,
Mhm.
and we have like I know they bring NFL chaplains in to talk to us and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know no other team bringing NFL chaplains in to talk to their players before the game. I was thinking about that one day. I was like, damn, this is crazy. This is a video game, this is a simulation, and we talking to an NFL chaplain, and he really talking to us like for real, and praying with us. So that right there is like, I don't know. Like I said, they keep shocking me and doing stuff. So I said Michael Singletary was one of my favorite NFL
Mhm.
players growing up. So I heard that name. I was like, wow. And like I said, the expectations are up to par. And I'm proud to be a Cannon Classic. Can't complain.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. I like that. I like that. Um, Fun questions for you before I let you go. So you got a big juicy steak, Chris. I'm assuming that you like porterhouses, but what
Hmm.
is your cut, your favorite cut? What is the temperature on the steak? And then how do you, what sides do you want to cook or serve with it?
Man, I like it like, what do they call it? Like medium rare.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it when it's like too done, but I don't like it when it's like we cooked the steak the other day. That shit was like red. I don't like it that like that. So medium rare,
Okay.
the sides. I do a loaded potato, and then maybe some broccoli or something. Well, you put that in loaded potato, but I think I would do that. That'll be enough. The loaded potato, maybe a salad, something like that on the side, and the steak. I do it like that.
What kind of steak?
Porterhouse. That's a trademark. Yeah, porterhouse all day.
I figured that. Dope, dope. Mid rare, I've heard of different temperatures. Um, And for a porterhouse, yeah, because you don't have a lot of fat content on a porterhouse. So I guess with me, the only issue that I have with fattier steaks like a ribeye or something like that is the fat that goes through it. And for me, if that's not crispy, I got issues. Like
Yeah.
I can't do it.
That's
So
like my That's like I shouldn't be doing this, but like my favorite part of the steak is the fat.
really,
Yeah, my wife don't like eating. I'd be like, give me that fat. I like, and I know I shouldn't eat it, but that's my favorite part. I like eating the fat on the steak.
I mean, well, as long as you're not eating the steak every day, eating the fat, then I guess you're good.
I
You're
know.
good.
But then also, I was talking about this too. Like, I actually was a fan of like carne asada steak too. Like carne asada is
Mm-hmm.
good. So I
Mm-hmm.
know that's not steak, but carne asada taco, burrito, and like real carne asada meat when you just cook it, it's great.
It is.
Out here, because I'm in San Diego. Out here, you get some carne asada meat, as you living life.
Hey, they actually do some really good carne asada out here in Arizona too.
Yeah. You stay up
Yes.
close to
So,
us, yep.
last question for you. If you could have dinner with anyone that is alive or no longer with us, that is famous or not, who would you have dinner with and why? And that could be either one person or two people.
Hmm. A good question. Who would I have dinner with? I would say I would like to talk to Muhammad Ali, and I would like to talk to Malcolm X. I'll talk to him.
Okay. Why?
Because I like both of them. They both was kind of cool. They used to hang out together, so I know it'll already be like they get along. So I just be the third wheel, probably listening to them. And then I just like how they stood up in the face of they had all them people telling them like Muhammad Ali, all them people telling him he should go to war. He stood up to that. And then Malcolm X, like I said, he was fighting for his people as well. You had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King on this side saying peace, but you had Malcolm X like, nah, we gotta fight for ours, we gotta stand up for ours. And that was just so bold for them to be doing that in the 50s and 60s. And you got people nowadays who don't do that. So they was doing it 70 years before us and fighting for their people. So I would just like to talk to him. And I know Malcolm X was in jail too, so he came from prison and rose out of that and became a leader of his people. So I just want to talk about his story, see if it match up to the movie, all that stuff.
Yeah. You're not the first person to actually say Malcolm X. And so I definitely understand it. I think Robert Brady Jr. said that too. He wanted to meet Malcolm and Martin, you know.
Yeah.
And so I mean I've been getting some really good answers. I've gotten Jesus, I've gotten Socrates, I've gotten Galileo, I've gotten it's just depending on what I guess maybe is something you're interested in or something
Mhm.
that really moves you. That is the answer that I got. So I like that. I like
Then I
that.
forgot about somebody. I would throw him in too. I'll probably have to bump somebody off this for him. But I would like to talk to Mansa Musa, since they say he was the richest man in the world back in his time.
Mm,
Black man, richest man in the world. So I would like to talk to him and see what he was doing, how he was making all that money back then.
I and you know what? Take me along with you so we can understand together.
Maybe I could take some of the money bring it back with me too, like go astro travel, get some
There
of
you
the money,
go.
bring it back. So that's what I'm trying to do with Mansa Musa.
I love it, man. I love it. You got any questions for me before I let you
Nah, man, we got bread in my ear, so I'm gonna hop on in with him.
go? Gotcha. No worries. Do your thing. Any shout outs you want to give before you go?
Uh, Shout out to Cannon Classics, my peoples, man. I ain't gonna name all y'all because it's too many, but shout out to the defense. I got love for y'all. Shout out to my offense. Shout out to Mike, the management team. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep winning.
Indeed. See you later, brother. Have a good one.
I'll holler. You stay in touch.
Will do. All right.
Peace.
Peace. What is up, SFL Nation? I'm back with my fourth and goal interview featuring Mr. Mark. Oh, Jesus. Featuring Mr. Bill Marcum. He is defensive end for the San Diego Mavericks. Also, a very good friend of mine. Man, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good if I can get your name right.
It's all right. I mean, half the league is probably going hoop. So
Indeed, indeed. Well, man, welcome back to the show. It has been a while since you've been on. I think you were on a whole
yeah, it
nother
has.
team.
I
Last
was on a
time
whole other team, and it's been a few games ago.
it has, it has. But we're going to talk about all of that in a few minutes. But for those that didn't get a chance to see our conversation, give us a little bit of information about yourself, just the basics. So your hometown, interesting fact about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Okay. Well, my actual name is Gene Clark, not Biff Marcum.
Okay.
Number one, I live out in the sticks where I'm having to have satellite because we don't have cable out here, and I don't have water either. I do have electricity, so you can tell I'm a nerd. My priority was to get on the internet and not so much the rest of it. But I'm out between Atlanta, Texas, and Naples, Texas, which is about an hour to the west of Texarkana. So
Oh, wow.
my news is actually comes from Shreveport, Louisiana. So
Okay. Got it. So tell me, what's up with the water?
just I'm one of those that have tried to go a little different than most. So I live in a shipping container home, which
Oh.
means that I have on my acreage there was nothing out there, so I've had to chop a bunch of trees down. It took me, I don't know, 6, 8 weeks just to get electricity. And so what's happened now is that this in this part of Texas, it's kind of swampy and
Mhm.
marshy. And so right now to try to get like septic and everything in, the ground is too soft. It would just end up leaving huge ruts everywhere. So I'm trying to hold off until probably about May to get that part done. But it's living like Daniel Boone, but with electricity right now.
Right. I've actually seen okay, I've seen those shows, right? Where they
Okay,
take different things like school buses and shipping containers and just different
right.
things like that to make homes out of. So this
Yeah.
is my first time actually talking to someone that's done that. So this
Mhm.
is totally off topic, guys. Forgive us,
Okay.
but I have so many questions about this. But um, what is it like? So you're pretty much off the grid, except you're using like
Well,
electricity. You're using
right. I'm
technology.
on the grid with electricity,
Right.
but I don't have like water going into the place, so I have to
Hmm.
bring in my own water, which means carrying a lot of water in. It means uh, being creative when it comes to showering,
Okay.
uh, which is
Okay.
actually the biggest thing right there. Because when it's like 20 degrees outside, the last thing you want to do is have a cold shower too.
No. No.
you know,
No.
so
Okay.
uh, that has been a challenge. But I heat up water now, and now I've kind of gotten to where I know how much I need to put in and
Hmm.
everything. But the thing when you're using like a gravity shower is you got to be quick,
Okay.
because you don't have that much water in there.
So no
So
long drawn out
yeah, you don't have
showers.
it running while you're soaping yourself up or anything. You gotta, all right, let's get ourselves wet. Let's soap ourselves down. Now let's rinse ourselves off, and whatever's left is left.
Well, I more power to you. I think that is a very interesting choice, and I am seeing a lot of people going to, that. So hey,
Yeah.
does it save you money though?
Oh yeah, it has saved me money.
Okay.
Um, what it's been rough on my dog in
Mm.
that in the winter this year where it's gotten really cold, my floor ends up being cold, and he, of course, lays down on the floor a lot. So that um, I'll see him every once in a while shivering, and he's a
Mm.
very smart dog. So when he was a puppy, I told him not to get on the couch. He remembered that. When I bought him a doggy bed, he refused to get in it because he associated that with the couch.
Oh no.
And so I ended up having to give the dog beds I bought him to my sister for hers because he will not. If I put him in it, then he's all nervous. So it's like, okay, come out. You don't have to be in there because he thinks he's on timeout. And
No.
it's like, no, this is your bed.
Oh man. So I guess a
You
few
know.
rugs, little throw rugs, things of that nature.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what I've done here.
Yeah.
And he's best dog I ever had. Best dog I've ever had. And all he wants to do is make you happy. That's all
Oh,
he wants to do.
it's a beautiful
And
thing.
he's yeah.
If I
He
didn't have two children,
comes
I'd
and
probably get a dog, but that's another mouth.
oh
That's
yeah.
that's another mouth.
It's it's tough with kids.
Exactly.
I can remember dropping on my knees one time right by my bed and saying, Lord, I don't think I can do this for 18 years.
Oh, you have those days, dear. You have those days, honey. But
What was that? that 2-year-old where the scream could be they're having fun, or the scream could be they are they've been
In
ready
trouble.
to die. It's the same screen. It just goes right through your brain, out the other ear.
Oh, I've been there. I've passed that point, and there's sometimes I just think, do I really want to start over? Do I really want to have, because I can have more if I want it, but like, do I really want that?
Ooh, that's a tough choice.
I don't think so. I think I'd rather get a dog. But who's your favorite NFL team?
The Cowboys now. Once upon a time, it was the Houston Oilers, and
okay.
And then, I'd like the Titans, but as the ex-Oilers left the Titans, and the fact that I was watching the Cowboys, plus growing up, I grew up in Houston, so I was watching the Cowboys every Sunday, growing up anyway. So they've always been kind of right there, So it was easy. It was an easy switch for me.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked someone else. Why is it that when the Cowboys are winning, when they're doing, they've won 2, 3 games in a row, why is it that the fans get so extra? Like, I have friends that are Cowboys fans, and they are just talking all kind of mess. Oh my God. Yeah, we're this. Yeah, we're that. We're coming back. I'm like, bro, yeah.
It's in the
You
water.
want to wait to it's in the water?
Yeah, it's Texas. It's in the water. What can I say? You go back in history. Why do you think Wyatt Earp and them didn't like the Cowboys there at Tombstone? They were Texans. All right? Simple as that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, Biff, you have been around in the league for quite a while, since season 17, where you started with the Sioux Falls Sparrows, and now you're over at San Diego Mavericks. So tell me, what was that transition like? Being with one team for 3 seasons and then all of a sudden just going to San Diego.
Well, the break was hard.
Yeah.
The break was, Jason is awesome. Jason and AJ are just awesome. And, I can remember in the locker room, when I told Jason I was leaving, and that was tough because the guy, that's a team I didn't want to leave. There's only about one scenario that would make me leave, and it happened. Dave Access got a team. Mm-hmm. And so, that was tough. Now it's with Dave, of course, it's a completely different atmosphere, mm-hmm. We have a blast. The locker room is fun. It's full of activity, everything. And, with Dave can make a show out of just about anything,
Yes. Yes, he can.
So yeah, it's great. Charles is great, being able to work with him on things, getting an idea of where we want my player to be, for instance. He has been awesome with that. And so has Dave. Zach has been great. Everybody.
Good. I'm glad that was a good transition for you, especially when, sometimes the perception is the grass is not always greener on the other side. But if you were going to be with your friends, if you're going to be with people, not to say anything bad about Sioux Falls, but people, like that you really wanted to play with for one reason or another, and you're happy, that's all that matters. And I think that Jason and AJ ultimately understands that,
Oh, I
good
believe
group
so.
of guys.
And I love those guys. I still do.
Yeah.
And I would love to play for Sioux Falls again if they'd have me back sometime. But right now I'm happy where I'm at.
Definitely. I understand. Yeah. I understand. So you mentioned the locker room for San Diego, being kind of like the fun, very active, always having activities to do, things of that nature. How would you describe the Sioux Falls locker room? Because honestly, I don't see too many Sioux Falls players like in general chat and things like that. So it's kind of hard to gauge what their locker room is like, what they are like, because you hardly ever see them.
In the off season, there's not a lot of activity in the Sioux Falls locker room, but during the season, it's active. It's mainly the main activity is, of course, right there before a game, right there after the game when we're discussing the game, whatever happened, cheering on whoever was the hero. that week. So yeah, there's activity, and like I said, to me, Jason's a funny guy. He'll just put up a little meme that's like totally on topic and just will catch you completely off guard. So I'd love the Sioux Falls locker room.
Awesome.
I thought it was a great locker room.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And people get busy in real lives, and depending on the type of locker room that you have, if it's more of an older crowd, then everyone's probably at work. Everybody's probably
you have that. You would
right.
have, especially with AJ, but he would sometimes, comment from work. We have
Yeah.
Jason. Sometimes he'd be out in the field, and he
Wow.
would sometimes even post from out in the field. He was posting one time. What was it? Where he was given a shot. I cannot quite remember it now, but it was just, something happened while he was out on maneuvers and stuff, and he took a picture and had it there in the locker room for us, and I thought that was interesting. You have
Good.
Fargo. Fargo would sit there and give us updates on his workouts and everything, as he's building himself up in real life, just to be as strong as his player is in the SFL. So you would get updates like that. You have Kelly, you have all the guys. It's a great locker room. I know
Good.
that it doesn't get any respect, but I was happy there.
Good. And ultimately, that's all that matters, that your experience um and the imprint that they left in your heart is what matters. So seems like it was a good one. So I'm glad for
Oh
you,
yeah,
man.
I love Jason and AJ. Man, they're great people.
Now it seems like just looking at your stats for the regular season since you've been in the league, you've been fortunate enough to get about 8 sacks, 29 tackles for losses, couple pass deflections, no interceptions at the moment, but um your tackles with the combination of regular tackles and assisted, it's well over it's about 80, a little over 80. So how do you attribute your success? Is it because of the progressions you made? Is it because the advice that you take from your coaches? Like how do you how did you get to where you are now?
Oh, I think it's the coaching scheme. Now,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me, I don't know that my job was really to make the tackles. As the way I look at it, when like when I was with Sioux Falls, when Fargo was having a good game, a lot of times that's because I'm being double teamed. All
Mm,
right. So
hmm.
I'm preventing any blockers getting on him so that he can make the tackle. That's how I look at it a lot of times. Now, granted, I know that both Sioux Falls and San Diego would love to see me more involved in sacks because
Hmm.
I'm lagging behind in that, and hopefully that will change. Now, when I came in the league, though, I didn't play any minor league games, so I came in as just a raw rookie into the league. So
Gotcha.
that I had to take my lumps.
Indeed. But to have what you have and not being able to progress in the minors is also a good thing though, because you're still effective. And you looks like you've seen two playoff runs where you
Yeah.
were effective in those as well, having 3 sacks in one, having seven tackles and assists in another. So you've been active, you've been doing it. It's just different for you.
I've actually, it's really kind of interesting. I'm glad you brought it up because my player has played better in the playoffs than he does during the season. For instance, you talked about that game where I had 3 sacks.
Hmm.
That season, I only had 2 sacks the whole season.
You're right. You're
And I
right.
kind of, and I
You're
think I
right.
had like 3 sacks, like 2 or 3 tackles for losses in that game. I was like, man, they're going to ask for a blood test from me after this game.
He's spiking himself, at
That's right.
the beginning of the game. He's Oh my God. Yeah,
No,
but that
yeah,
that is a good
yeah.
way to look at it. Maybe you knew it was showtime. Maybe you knew, hey, this is where you
I,
make your money, the bread and butter of
I guess so. That or I knew they were about to cut me, so I better do something.
Gotta show them something.
You know, because after my first year, I told you I came in just straight.
Yeah.
I'm at the bottom of the line, rookie.
Mhm.
And then the season's over. We get into the off season, and everybody's talking about the draft. And I'm listening, and I get to Sioux Falls. What does Sioux Falls need? Oh, they need a defensive end. I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh. Oh, good stuff though. Like I
Yeah.
said, ever you can get in there and make a mark,
Mhm.
that's, and especially like you were saying, not having that SFLm experience, it's a good thing. It is a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, San Diego got on a hot streak. I mean, it was 3-0 until tonight,
Yeah.
where you guys suffered your first loss. So tell me, despite the loss,
Yeah.
um, what are your expectations from San Diego this season?
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is
Mhm.
the San Diego era. And so I expect us to win the division, and I expect us to do well in the playoffs.
Mhm.
That's just being honest.
Okay. So what do you think it took for San Diego to be a more formidable opponent? Because for a while, San Diego was struggling.
I think that, again, you got that diva factor with Dave Access. That, number one, you got Robo coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't have happened without Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Eagle coming out of retirement, I don't think would happen without Dave.
True. They
Dave
were very
Access
close.
coming out of retirement wouldn't have happened without Dave. You got Pseudo Nakai. You got all these, you got Nate coming in defensively, Freddie Trammell coming in defensively, Tom Krieg staying in San Diego, Zach
Mhm.
staying in San Diego. You got Tanner Hendricks. You got Thunderman staying. You got Jeff Ganj coming in from London. Matter of fact, we have Benji also coming from,
Mhm.
we robbed London, man.
Yeah, clearly.
London was hurt by the time our roster was filled. So yeah, and I attribute that to just Dave.
Mhm.
Dave and Charles, they're just awesome people, and so they have a certain group that's going to come with them, and you can tell why, because you want to have fun, hang around these guys. They'll make you have fun.
Indeed. Indeed. What do you say to people that refer to San Diego sometimes as Lone Star 2.0? What do you
Well,
say to that?
I get it,
Mhm.
but to me, that's not totally fair to Soto.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
Soto was a huge part of Lone Star, and he's still a huge part, there in Alamo City.
Absolutely.
So to me, I get why people say that, but Soto did awesome things, and he's still there, and so are a bunch of people like Gunny and stuff. So yeah, they're not going anywhere. 1.0 is still around, and you'll be seeing things out of 1.0, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just amazing how things change over the course of even a couple of seasons,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's just interesting because I've heard that before. And I said that if I had anybody from San Diego on, I was definitely going to ask that question because I think everyone kind of changed the names, changed teams, things like that for a different identity, a different thing, a different way of viewing the league and being involved in the league, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you answered that question the way you did, though.
Uh-huh.
It's good. That was good. So, what was your, since we've only played 4 games, right? What has been your favorite game so far, and why?
Oh, London.
Really?
London was, you got to remember, I was knocked out of the playoffs last season by London.
Mm, got
So,
it.
the first game we play happens to be the same team that was the last team I played. So
Mm,
yeah, that to me, that meant everything to me. Winning against London meant everything. It was kind of like, yeah, how we got them back for kicking our butts there in the playoffs, you know.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely understand that. And
Yeah.
you just want to. There are certain teams that are. I would consider them high caliber teams. So when you do beat them, when you're able to get that victory over them, it kind of raises the bar for your own coaching staff. It raises the bar for your own team because now, even though you lost to them before, you were able to overcome that loss and battle them again and put the right pieces in place and the right plays to be able to have a different outcome. So
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I think any team would do
Well,
that.
anytime you play like Johnny and Fox and them, it's going to be a fun time,
It
you
is.
know. You
It
know.
is. It is. Um, what is the most important thing to you in being involved with the SFL?
Just the camaraderie, you know,
Hmm.
there's a sense of community here. There's no, uh, in your face stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about it. As the league really says, no, we're not going to go that way. And, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I get it about the community, things of that nature, and how they're there for you, even through times of hardships
Yeah.
and good times. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I love this league, even when we were 3-13, or I forget, we had like 3-10 or whatever we were.
Yeah,
It was still a fun league. Now it sucked losing, but I mean, it was still a fun league.
indeed. So, what are your thoughts on us moving to the new game?
I don't know that much about it other
Mhm.
than what, I know. I know that what game we're moving to and all, and I know something about it. I'm interested to see how progressions will work on it,
Yeah.
on that one, because as I understand it, there won't be the animations in that league.
Hmm.
So I am curious, how progressions are going to work in the new league. But I'm sure that's already been worked out and everything. Is just it's on a need to know basis, and I'm low on that food chain. So,
No.
and I'll be quite happy once it comes out. It's to me, it's like if I get to play with the guys, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think it's more so not need to know, but like, oh, a work in progress kind of thing. Because,
I hear you.
we're testing things and testing playbooks and testing different things. And so I think when Cam has a more definitive answer on how things are going to work, I think that'll be kind of when he'll roll everything out in that
Oh,
regard.
awesome.
Because I don't know. I mean, I've
Yeah,
heard different things, but it wasn't from the source. So I'm kind of leery when it's not from the source telling
exactly.
me this. So, um, but yeah,
Yeah,
good
the
time.
grapevine is usually 50% wrong. You know,
Mhm.
even when they're telling you something that's right, by the way they tell it to you, it's not quite right. You know,
Yeah, you missed this spot. You missed a whole
you
part over
know,
here.
right. You know,
But so we have a lot of rookies in the league. We have a lot of people that are joining every day, it seems. And they're looking for advice on how to build their player or what team to join or how to get involved in the community in different aspects. Um, First, do you plan on getting involved with your team or in the league with any other, like maybe broadcasting or doing stats, or do you already do this? And secondly, do you have any advice for them in order to get more involved or get noticed from teams? So when draft day comes, because oh, I know him, I know her, kind of thing.
my advice to the up and coming players is just be visible.
Yeah,
You know, be visible. You know, in the community and be positive. Always be positive. People want to be around positive people. They don't want to be around negative people. So always be visible and be positive on your remarks. And that to me will take you further than any kind of build that you put together. You know, coaches and owners will say we can work out your build, but
yeah.
what they need is your commitment.
Mm-hmm. I
And as
agree.
far as me, I don't. do any stats or anything in the SFL because I've already committed to doing things like that in another league. So that's why you kind of seen me where I'm not as active as I was when I first came into the SFL. Well, it's because I'm now having to divide my time into other areas. But I still love the SFL, and I wouldn't mind doing it if I can work out the time.
I definitely understand. And you don't want to burn the candle from both ends, and all of a sudden it doesn't make it's not fun anymore.
Exactly.
So
when
I
it
get
becomes
that.
work instead of play, well, you're not going to last much longer.
On that positive note, I was watching you during the game tonight.
Mhm.
And as the scores were interchanging, going back and forth, when you guys are tied, when you guys were down, you were the most positive one that I
Oh,
saw on
was
your
it?
team in the chat. I
Oh,
mean,
thanks.
from just saying, "Hey, team, we got this. Don't worry. We just gotta come out there." But I really admire that quality about you because not only do you advise it, you actually live it. And I just wanted to give you kudos for that because it is difficult when you're losing a game to stay positive and to remain positive, even for those that are on your team, despite the other team, ranting and raving about different things like that, about different things that like they're winning, things of that nature. Um, I admire that about you.
Well,
That
thanks.
was, yeah.
I tried to behave in that chat like I would be if I was on the sidelines. All right, if I'm in the sidelines, I'm not going to be sitting here. I might gripe a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, I am trying to motivate my teammates that are out on the field when I'm not
Right.
out there. And same thing when I'm on the field. Doesn't mean that when I actually played, I wasn't a jerk. Yeah, I even got thrown out of the game for fighting. So played in real life, and I definitely don't advise that to any of the kids playing today.
Right.
That hurt the team big time.
Yeah. Yeah. The emotions, right? Being
Yes.
emotional and sometimes saying
You,
things that you don't mean or
yeah.
um taking things out on, I get it. That's sports, right?
Yeah. It's just one of those things that happen. And, once the fists start, they don't stop until,
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody grabs you,
Just like that Eagles 49ers game. I
Exactly.
saw choke slams and everything. Oh, what is happening?
Exactly. Exactly.
But
Yeah.
good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff, Biff. I was wondering, fun questions now. So, if you had a chance to have dinner with maybe one or two people, um, that are living or not living, that are famous or not famous, who would they be and why?
Well, number one, and to me, that's a no-brainer, and that's Jesus.
Okay.
And then number two, the second one that gets a little tough, because I could go um, Ulysses Grant. I would
Ooh.
like to. Uh, he would be one that I would like to have dinner with.
Okay.
Um, and then, again, that would be going back to the Bible, and it would be like Jesus's mother, Mary. So I could ask her, well, is it true that, you know?
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
You're the
okay,
second person. You're the second person that said Jesus. Mighty was the first.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one for number one to me because
Because why?
you know because I plan to have a dinner with him in the future someday. That's why.
Well, hopefully not too soon. We love having you around. Okay. Positivity, we hope stays around a long time.
That's right.
um, so if you had a big juicy steak in front of you, what cut would it be? How would you like it cooked? And what sides would you have with it?
Okay, I would want sirloin, medium, and with the sides, I would like baked sweet potato and green beans. Some kind of traditional, but kind of a
Hmm.
curve with the sweet potato, though.
Yes. Contrary, I used to work at a couple steakhouses.
Mhm.
And people preferred at times the sweet potatoes, depending on what kind of steak they had. So I've definitely seen the sweet potatoes with the butter and the brown sugar and the cinnamon come out
Oh yeah.
and all of
Oh
that
yeah.
good stuff. We didn't have green beans available, but we had other things like spinach and stuff like that that people would typically eat with it. But that's, sirloin is not a bad cut of steak, especially if you get it cooked right. Now, if you try to go well done, mm,
No, no.
you might.
In my young and stupid days, I worked a graveyard shift where we'd get off at 7 a.m. And, this is in my early 20s and all. And we would go up to the grocery store and we would buy steaks, get a case of beer and go and just cook them up. And of course, everybody's looking at us like, why are you drinking at 8 in the morning? And so, well, it's 8 p.m. to me.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There
Exactly.
he is.
Exactly.
And last question for you. What games, and it could be more than one, if you look at your schedule, I'm not sure if you have it in front of you or if you know it off the top of your head, but what games are you most looking forward to and why?
Mine is you guys in 2 weeks, definitely. Playing Arizona, because to me, that tells me a lot about where we really stand. Okay, because I know, let's face it, one of us is going to be there at the end of the season, is the way I see it. Maybe both of us.
Possible.
So to me, that's a big game to me.
Indeed. Well, you already know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
There's a couple of games I look forward to, San Diego being one of them.
All right.
And it's going to be very interesting to see the outcome of this game. And no hard feelings in the end, guys. That's all I'm saying. No hard feelings. It's going to be good. When we hang y'all that L, no hard feelings, all right?
Well, but it just isn't going to happen that way. But I mean, I get it that you want to believe that.
Oh, okay. So how many sacks you think you're getting?
Oh, well, I know something you don't on that.
Oh.
So I am going to say 1. Okay. All right. Just.
So you think Mr. Hammer is going to come up from behind and try to.
Well, Hammer and Caudell have been getting them every game. I'm just sitting there just like clapping them on.
And that's what I'm saying. See, we recognize that Hammer and Claudel. So it would only, how about we just throw them off a little bit? Let's just go ahead and send Mr. Marcum, her friend, after her. Okay, cool. Well, you can send who you want.
With your offensive line, I don't think you're sweating me or Hammer, to be honest with you.
Nah.
You guys got probably the best offensive line in the league.
Hey, but you know what? You guys do have a high-powered offense. I can't knock that. I don't think anybody can, especially after what we've seen the past 3 games. And even with this game, you did not give Vegas an easy game. This was not easy for them to win. I think they just capitalized off.
Could have gone either way. I mean,
Definitely.
You got to hand it to Las Vegas. They got Doug Britton involved in the game. They found ways to get him wide open time and time again. So I mean, you got to get, sometimes you just got to bow and said, okay, yes, you outdid us today, but we'll get you the next time. But today, you definitely, you outdid us.
Right, and I would always say this: I'd rather lose during the regular season than when it counts, when it's money time, when it's playoff time.
Exactly.
That's a one and done deal. You don't get a second shot. You don't get a chance to go look at the film and correct your mistakes, and that's it. So, but
and those playoff wins, they're heaven.
They are.
They're heaven. They're heaven.
Scary.
Yes.
Like you can't sit down. Like I barely eat on those days.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm really playing. Because the jitters and everything you're getting and everything, it's almost like you're really playing the game.
Exactly. And I think that is what you pay for. That is, besides being here in the community, kind of hanging out with your friends and things of that nature, feeling like the jitters that you would probably feel coming out the tunnel on game day and just watching the game progress. You're literally watching every down as if it's a movie. And then you look up, oh my God, this was just the first quarter. Oh, I feel like this has been 3 quarters already.
Exactly. Yep.
But it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Well, I
Yes,
can't
it
wait to
is.
see you. I can't wait to see you guys in a couple weeks. But Biff, you've
Mhm.
always been a good friend to me, and I really appreciate all you've done, for
Sure.
me, how you've always checked on me, making sure I was all right, little things like that. That kind of stuff means a lot. And I really appreciate you for that.
I appreciate you for having me on and for everything you do, because I know you catch some flack for it. So
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
but somebody's got to do it.
yeah. They say heavy head that wears a crown.
Yep.
But I have a strong neck, so I'm good.
There you go. Awesome.
Do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me before I let you go?
Yes. How
Yeah,
many touchdowns do you think you'll throw against us?
I would say at least about a good three.
Good three. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Just wanted to get you, since you asked me on sacks, I
Oh
thought
yeah.
I'd ask you on touchdowns. So,
Oh yeah.
all right. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. I know y'all got some
All
ball
right.
hogs out there too.
Oh, yes, we
I
do.
know.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Yeah.
See, I
Yeah.
watch. It's okay. We just gonna we just gonna throw it where they're not.
All right. Well, say hi
But
to Cliff and say hi to Eddie for me.
I sure will. I surely
All right.
will. And before I let you go, I'm going to give you the last word. So that can be a shout out, that can be a song, or that can be a poem. But right now, Beth, the floor is yours.
Oh, now you got me flustered here. No, now my shout out is to San Diego, and it's like, we're going to rise from this that happened today, and we're going to take our division and we're going to take this league.
All right. Looking forward to seeing because if you don't, I'll be writing your inbox like, hey, what you say?
Oh, exactly.
All right, Beth.
But it's in the bank. It's in the bank.
All
All right.
right,
You have a
brother.
blessed night.
You too. And I appreciate it. I appreciate your time always.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
What is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with Fourth and Goal interview featuring a good friend of mine that I haven't had on the show in a long time. And for that, I'm so sorry. Mr. Chad Stinson. He is the defensive coordinator for the Alamo City Artillery. How are you doing, Chad?
I'm doing good, actually. It's actually good to be back on the show. I can't even think of the last time I was on the show.
When you were in Carolina?
Yeah.
That was it. Man,
So yeah,
man.
that's been a while.
Yes, it has. It has. And a lot of positive things have happened since then. So we're going to get into that. But first, how have you been? What's been going on with you personally that you would like to share with everybody?
Uh, just like most people working as coaches in this league, running sims. Uh, the wife and I are trying to take care of all the pets we got because we've got 10 tarantulas, dogs, cats, all kinds of reptiles.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's what we've been doing.
Excuse me. I think I got to adjust my headphones. Did you say
Oh,
10 tarantulas?
yes, 10.
Okay.
Two of them will get about the size of a dinner plate when they're fully grown. So
I love spiders. I'm not sure if my children will allow me to have that. But I've always wanted a pet snake. Which one would you think? Which one, if you could recommend one for me? Which one do you think I should
I
get?
mean, you got your ball pythons, which I love ball pythons. So
Why?
I mean, they're just really easygoing snakes. They're not too hard to really take care of, and they don't. The most they've ever seen one gets about 6 feet long. So at
Okay.
most, or you got
Okay.
the little hognose snake, which is the one that everybody in the community calls like a drama noodle because it'll play dead.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine the snake playing dead. I don't know if you ever seen those fainting goats. When you
Oh
walk up on.
yes,
That's what I
yes.
imagined as soon as you said that.
Yeah, like they'll like open their mouth and they'll like kind of stand up and act like they're dying, and then they'll just fall over.
And the Academy Award goes to. Oh my gosh. That's great, man. That's great. I love hearing interesting stories like that. But So, Chad, you have been busy, in the league. You have
Yes.
been tell us about your adventure, first of all, from because, like I said, the last time I talked to you, you were on Carolina. Then you flew over to LA, hung out with those guys for a minute, and now you're in Alamo City. So tell us about that adventure and how things kind of progressed for you then.
After leaving Carolina, first off, I want to say, I have great respect for Harish and all them over there in Carolina. Love that team. They're amazing people. Went to LA to help out with, because they had gotten a new GM, Logan, who had, never done anything like that before.
Mhm.
Kind of fell out of it then. Some life stuff happened at work where I got bit in the face by a dog. So, had to deal with all that and kind of just fell off. So at the end of the season, we kind of parted ways. And I was just seeing what all was out there in the league and who all needed help.
Mhm.
And if I remember right, it was either Albert or Greg had posted something about needing a defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
So I contacted Albert and was like, hey, I'd be interested. And he gets back to me. He's like, well, just so you know, it's just the coordinator position because we don't have any open roster spots. Is that okay with you? And I was like, yeah, that is totally fine with me, because I really do like the coaching aspect of this. So I met with the whole ownership group there, which, was Bo Martin Jr., Albert, Greg. Crap, there's so many of them I can't remember now.
Yeah, right. No, it's like about
But
5 or 6.
yeah, once we and then we all talked. I took a couple of days to think about it after we talked.
Mhm.
Let them know I wanted the position, and I moved over to Alamo City.
So tell me, what are the differences between the similarities and the differences, I should say, for all the three teams that you've been on? And I kind of know the answer, in my opinion, but I would love to talk to someone that has kind of been through all three.
Well, the fun thing is, a lot of the locker rooms are really the same. Like each one of them have their own personalities, of course, but there's a lot of joking that goes on in the locker rooms. We actually have, I want to say it was Gunny and uh, I can't remember who else started like a little competition about progression this year. So they put everybody in, you get your progression in at certain times and you get so many points. And like they'll give something from the team store to whoever wins it. But it's things like that and just the joking that kind of make each one of the locker rooms the same because they're all really a family environment.
Okay.
Difference wise, it's really more the way each team prepares in the locker room of how things go.
Okay.
Because each one of them is very, very different about what they're doing on game day. Our about, I would probably say, at least 50 to 60% of the team every game day is here in Alamo City is in voice chat watching the game.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
Whereas I know like in Carolina, usually it was that I can remember. I may be wrong. Harish will correct me or Tristan will if I'm wrong. But there were probably maybe 10 of us, maybe at times. And then with LA, I don't think it was that many either.
Okay. I imagined that if I had to put them in order as far as the most active locker room, of course I'm not in there, so I wouldn't know. But like I would probably say it was Carolina, then Alamo City, then LA for some reason. Am I right? Or
You're pretty close.
okay.
The Carolina locker room, especially with Tristan in there, is a very active locker room. So
Yeah, I can only
what I miss
imagine.
is, going to sleep one night and then waking up going, what did Tristan say while I was asleep? And you never know what you're going to wake up to with him. So
Oh, I think some of my favorite things that Tristan has posted was the different flavors of Lay's potato chips.
well, Like when my son joined the league and came over to Carolina, the tradition there was Tristan always says something really weird to the new people when they come to the locker room. And literally, as soon as John hit the locker room, Tristan's like, "Hey, John, your dad has nice legs." And that's just one of the traditions, and it's funny because you never know what he's going to say.
I can imagine. What did John say?
I really can't repeat it. So.
I understood. Oh my God. Oh, I can imagine that look on his face though. Oh God. And see, that's one of the reasons why I like this league, because you do have those jokesters, you do have the pranksters, and it's all about just understanding your audience and understanding things, and I can appreciate all of it. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, because like I started in this league, I was in the last group of non-contract players.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but like I've watched guys that I've coached in the minors go on to being GMs or even owners. Most people don't realize this. Bo Martin Jr. I was actually his coach in the minors.
Oh my gosh.
So, and now I coach for him.
It's funny how the world works, right? That's why you never burn bridges. Never burn bridges, dear. So that's an interesting topic I want to discuss too. What is there a difference between coaching in the minors and coaching in the majors? Because I feel like it's still the same game. I mean, the players are different, but
yeah, I mean, there's a gigantic difference in it.
okay.
Like with the minors, every season you're going to have a team that's usually mostly filled up with people that are just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you're going to have some of your two-way players now, but just the way the game runs between that and what we do in the SFL, it's just totally different. You got to get used to both of them.
I never knew that there was really, well, see, I'm not a coach, so I wouldn't have known, but I never knew there was a real difference in that. I guess without giving away too much, can you give us an example of what one of those differences would be?
Like on the defensive side, it's like I've got a playbook that we used in Albuquerque this season.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could take that playbook, which literally, won us a championship, and I could put it in a sim in the SFL, and that playbook would just probably 9 times out of 10 just get blown completely out of the water. Just because of the different, the way the animations and everything are. You don't have people in the minors with that many animations.
Okay, that's true. That's very true. Maybe the two ways, but that's about it. It's not really that many.
That's about it.
Okay, gotcha. What is your favorite part about coaching?
Honestly, just seeing the running the sims and then putting in my playbook and seeing it go onto the field and see how it works. Because, you never know, running sims, the playbook, you may be up every game you sim 45-6. But come game day, that may switch around and you may be the one with 6 and not the 45.
I've watched Eddie, he puts like the video in our chat room sometimes and like little steal shots. Sometimes you looking like, okay, yeah, we're gonna beat them by that much, and then you're like, what just happened?
Oh yeah, it happened, especially the Baltimore game, as a matter of fact. I really felt that, I had put together a great defense. All the sims were doing good. And then, we had it up until the third quarter, and just after that, it went downhill.
I definitely understand that. How do you deal with taking those losses? Because I don't think people know, or maybe they do know, they just don't take into consideration the amount of time that you as a coach or that coaches / owners spend running sims and trying to figure out what works and scouting and trying to do all of this for someone to just come and say, hey, your team sucks, or hey, get another coach, whatever the crazy things that people say sometimes. How do you block all of that out and still maintain your professionalism and do what you have to do?
It's actually kind of hard because, of course, every coach and owner in this league are different.
Yeah.
I kind of, I do take it personal. I don't want, I take it hard. It's one of those things you put in all this work, sim after sim after sim, and then you just get beat. And you just, after a while, like the next day, you just got to move on.
Yeah.
It's still going to sit there with you in the back of your mind, but you just move on and move on to the next game.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you was one of those people that throw the controller or like throw a table. I've been known to throw my phone a couple times,
Well, I have a weird habit at times. It's going to be a baseball reference, but most people don't know this.
Okay.
But the athletics general manager, the Oakland A's, they used to have a general manager by the name of Billy Beane.
Okay.
Billy Beane would never watch the games because he felt it was bad luck. Like every time he would watch a game, they'd lose. And I almost feel the same way. Like I'm always hesitant to go watch the game because I have that same superstition almost.
Chad, I feel the same way sometimes. I'm telling you.
I'm like, if I turn this game on, something bad is going to happen.
Okay. Quick story. So for a while, last season, when we had a fullback, Terriano Rivera, right? He and I would have to be in voice chat at the same time. And if one of us were missing, we either both have to watch the game or neither one of us could watch the game. Because I swear we will always lose if it was just one of us. I don't know what it was, but I swear. And the night of the championship, I called, hey, where are you at? Am I watching the game or are we not? What are we doing? And I think he wound up leaving before the game was out. And that's why I still feel to this day, that's why we lost to Baltimore, because he left.
Well, a lot of people lose to Baltimore, but they're that good of a team.
Yeah, that's true. I was just joking, but yeah, it's just little superstitions like that. I totally get it. I totally understand, because you can ask anybody on my team, especially in the VC. If we're losing, I'll turn it just for a little bit. Maybe it's me. Maybe I just need to stop watching it, and then whatever happens, happens. But that's crazy. But
yeah.
So with us switching over to 2K4, I'm not sure if you had any practice time with it, but what are your thoughts on that? You excited or apprehensive or?
I'm actually a little excited, and I'm a little apprehensive because it's going to be learning a whole. I know the playbook supposedly, kind of work the same.
Okay.
But it's going to be learning a whole new system and what works, what doesn't. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be a good thing for the league. But, this is Cam's baby.
Yeah.
And whatever Cam needs to keep it going, that's what we got to do, honestly, because he puts his heart and soul into this. So.
Yeah. I totally agree. And in a way, I think it's going to level the playing field, because it's a lot of coaches that have been in the league forever. It's a lot of coaches that knows the little tricks and nuances that you can do, to kind of, stay ahead of the game pretty much.
Oh, and very much so.
It'll be easy to see. I mean, it'll be interesting rather to see how they do with a whole new game and everybody starts fresh,
Yes.
So it's going to be very interesting to watch. I typically have hot topic questions that I pull from the suggestions box in the Discord. And what do you think? And this comes from TJ Harper from Jacksonville. He wanted to know, what do we think, or should we add like an ask the commissioner thread. So you know how we have the different rooms in here. Can we just add a room where we can specifically ask Cam different questions that we have, whether it's about the league, whether it's about sponsorship, anything of that nature? What are your thoughts on that? Should we do that or? Ooh, you're muted.
I don't know how I muted myself, but I
Sorry.
think, sorry, that's a good question. I think Cam probably gets enough private DMs from owners and who knows who else about stuff like that.
True.
And I know he also has he does that little thing where he hops into voice chat ever so often, and people can ask him questions and stuff like that. So I really don't know, between producing all this and taking care of the website, even with the help, that he would really have time to answer the amount of questions that are going to pop up in that channel.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it is over 2,000 people in the server. Can
Yeah.
you imagine if everybody asked one question?
Yeah, there'd really be no way he would be able to answer them all.
No.
So,
no.
But he gives us that chance to do it when he's in VC. So that's probably the best way for him to do it.
And it's funny because when he does have those voice chats open, it'll be like maybe 30, 40 people in there, but only like 10 people are saying something. And it's like this is the time if you have any questions or if you want to give any praise or even if you have any concerns, like he's right there. Just say something. But some people are just, I guess, shy about it. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, like me, I talk during broadcasts is when I mostly have my interaction with Cam.
Yeah.
Before the games, after the games. So if I have a question, that's usually when I'll ask Cam something.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And I will send him a DM once in a blue moon. And it's not really about a question or anything. It's just telling him, just trying to give him that positive vibe, so he doesn't feel like everybody's talking bad about APF or anything like that.
Right. Because you can hear a lot of the naysayers and you can really think that that's what it is. But then you'll notice that there are some positive people out there. There are some positive comments that can kind of balance that out. So, and I think everybody needs that too. Do you have any future aspirations on being anything else besides the defensive coordinator? Did you want to get back onto the field with the player? Do you want to maybe expand yourself and be a head coach somewhere, or even with Alamo City, or maybe even an owner?
When I first joined the league, I had an aspiration of being an owner. But that's kind of been put on the back burner because I've seen what you guys go through. I've heard stuff that you guys go through. And I'm just like, right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. If Greg and them ever asked me to be head coach, I probably would be. But Greg does a great job doing what he does. Because, it's my playbook to make the final decision on the defense. But Albert, Bo Martin Jr., Thomas, Blue, myself, we all are running sims at the same time. And literally every day, there's probably throughout the week 100+ messages of where somebody has seen something, and we'll change it and test it. But if they ever needed me to be a head coach, I would be. But right now, I'm kind of just enjoying where I'm sitting.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And that's a lot of eyes to be able to scout. That's a lot of different perspectives. That's actually smart, to have so many people looking at it, because it might be something that you're missing, or that Bo misses, or that Yogi misses, that you got some kind of help. Check, and hey, we got it. So I like that. So we have so many people in the server now, and we decided to add the different channels, the General 18, the a community life channel, the survivor, the stats channels, and everything like that within the server. Do you think that was a good move? Because the we try to give a little bit of something for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, actually, it was a good idea. Like, especially the community life one is kind of interesting
Mhm.
because you learn something about anybody that wants to post it there.
Mhm.
The survivor pool thing was really nice to have it in server instead of, I can't remember if Johnny had a separate thing
I
how he
think he
did it. I don't.
did. Hmm.
And then also with the fantasy, I think it was, if I remember right, in its own separate thing.
Hmm.
So you were having to watch those two plus the SFL. So it was just easier to bring them all together
Good.
for everybody.
Good. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad we were able to kind of do that kind of stuff because we do want to be an inclusive, we want to be an inclusive with everybody. So if you have something that you're into, even with the community life channel, you get to know people. You also get to see what they're into. So if you're a streamer, if you like to cook, if you like to do different things and you want your fellow community members to come check you out, things like that, I think that's a good opportunity, and explore from a different perspective, you know?
Oh, definitely. I mean, this league, even since I first joined, has grown tremendously. And so much
Yeah.
has changed. And that's only 5 seasons ago, but it feels like it's, been forever.
Do you ever get tired of coaching the minors? Meaning, um, do you with you being a coach in the majors, having to watch all of those sims, having to do all of that, and then it's like you never really get downtime. You maybe get, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe what, 6 weeks off or something like that? A year?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, to answer that question, no, I don't. I actually love coaching in the minors because every season it's something new.
Yeah.
Because, after the players get drafted, we got to wait to see who's going to be a two-way player, who's not. And then they get moved around. So a player you may have had last season, you're not going to have this season.
Yeah.
And then the players changing position. So it's really actually kind of fun because it's like a mystery bag of what am I going to, be working with this season and who's it going to be. So I get to meet all the players before they actually get into the SFL. So it's a lot of fun to me.
Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. And I have like 3 more questions for you and then we're done. But I wanted to
Okay.
know what is some advice that you would like to give the new rookies that are coming into the league?
Oh, wow. Don't do what I did and be really quiet when you first get in. Because, I was drafted during that whole supplemental draft thing.
Yeah.
And I can't exactly remember which round I was drafted in. The fifth, I think. And it was literally mostly because nobody knew who I was.
Hmm.
Uh, had it not been, for the Adams actually reaching out to a couple of teams, I probably would have been in the minors another year. So, get to know everybody. Reach out to the owners, the coaches, because a lot of them will answer you, and a lot of them have no problem answering any questions you have. And especially because a lot of your coaches in the minors either own or coach it. Well, they don't own a team, but they're usually coaches within the SFL too.
Hmm. Good stuff. And I think that is important to not only talk in the minors servers and in your locker room, but to also talk in the general chats, or sports channels. We have all these different channels so people can get to know you. And then on draft day, they're like, oh, I remember this person because they're always there. Like for instance, Bread. If Brad ever decided to get a player and enter the draft, oh my gosh, so many people will be fighting over Brad because
Oh, definitely.
it it he is so active. I mean, then being on the other side of the world too. I mean, you got people right here that's not as active, but
Oh, yeah. I
and
mean, we got who? Liam. who's in England. I forget who
Yeah.
all is.
Oh, so
And
many.
I see a lot of them more than I see some of the people that live in our time zones.
Right. And so when you see that and you see someone that has just a genuine love for the community, has a genuine love for just people and just being here, that is attractive. And you want that to hopefully have on your team and to hopefully inspire your own team members to do the same, you know? So it's good stuff, man. We have good people here. Fun question time. So, Chad, you got a nice juicy steak in front of you. What temperature, what type of steak is it, first off? What temperature is it cooked to? And then what sides are you having with it?
Um, let's see. I do like sirloins.
Mm-hmm.
Probably medium rare.
Okay.
Sidewise, asparagus. I love asparagus.
Okay.
And either loaded mashed potatoes or baked potato would be fine.
I think you're the first person that says loaded mashed potatoes. Those are very good. Very, very good. And you don't have to worry about the outer part of the potato too. Just scoop them down.
Exactly.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. You are not the only person that said sirloin either. I think sirloins are good, especially if you don't like a lot of fat. And you definitely wouldn't want to get that cooked any more than medium, a little bit over medium, because it'll
Yeah, I
be
mean,
very tough.
if you get it cooked well done, you might as well just take your shoe off while you're in there and go ahead and start eating that because it's going to taste about the same.
Oh, not to mention if you butterfly it, and for people that don't know what butterfly is, it's a thick
Oh
cut
yeah,
steak. You cut it in half, and then that helps it to cook quicker. Well done. Oh, there is no juice, there is no life in it. So.
nothing.
But if you could have dinner with anyone in the world that's living or not living, um, and that is famous or not famous, who would it be and why? Now, if you want to just name one person, that's fine. Or if you want to name two people, that's good too.
Okay. Well, one's going to be it's going to be kind of a group of people, but it's my grandparents.
Okay.
I only ever really got to know two of my grandparents, but I would like to meet the rest of them just to get to know them because, like, I'm I'm adopted. Most people don't realize this.
Okay.
Um, but my grandmother and my great grandmother were both full blooded Indians.
Really? All
Yes.
right.
So I would love to sit down and eat dinner with both of them and learn as much about that part of my family as I could. Because that is something special. If I remember right, I think Gerald Smith is also part Native American.
Yes, and I think Dwayne Schindler is too.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some. It's just special, and I would love to sit down and talk with them about that.
Definitely.
And then,
Yeah.
both my grandfathers were in the military. One was actually in World War II, and he passed before I was born. And I would love to just sit down and, having been deployed myself, just talk to him about his experience compared to what I've.
Good stuff. Learn a lot by asking that question about people, you know?
And I do have my famous person. I do have one of those.
Why not? Tell me.
His name is, you'll probably know the name, but it's Nelson Mandela.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're talking about a man that literally took a country that was on the brink of tearing itself apart due to racism, a lot of it, and brought them together. And I would just love to sit down and figure out what he did to do that, to literally try to recreate it here in the U.S. So,
That would be a very beautiful thing and a much needed thing, dear. Definitely. Well, if I tell you what, if you just happen to have that dinner, sneak me in somehow. I'd love to get the 411 on that too. But Chad, that was awesome interview. I really appreciate you for stopping by. And of course, you can always come on whenever you want to. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 years.
Not a problem, Ashley.
But before I let you go, two things. Do you have any questions for me?
No, actually, I don't, because I usually listen to your show. So anytime I'm like, what does Ashley think about this? It's usually on the show. So
Okay. Good enough. Good enough. And I can now let you go officially without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that just a simple shout out. But right now, Chad, the floor is yours.
as always, like I've always done on the show, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. I want to thank Carolina and LA and Alamo City for letting me be on their teams and giving me the chances they did. And just, thank Cam for having this community here, just to meet the people I've met and talk to on a daily basis.
Awesome. Awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys do on the field. Speaking of which, I always do this. One more question. Who is your next opponent? I forgot to look that up.
Mexico City.
Ooh. What are your thoughts on that game?
Honestly, Ashley, it's Mexico City's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of those teams that if you come out and play flat, it's going to be over before the second quarter. Personally, I think it's going to be a really good game and could end up very well being a very close game. So I'm looking forward to it, seeing how it plays out. It'll actually be the first time player or coach that I've ever faced Mexico City. So I'm really excited about it.
Hey, well, go out there and do your thing. I will be watching, Chad. And good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Ashley, and good luck to you guys in Arizona.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Ashley.
You too, love. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That is it. Thank y'all so much for joining us this evening. I really appreciate you for stopping by. Big shout outs goes out to Biff Marcum, Chad Stinson, and Chris Porter for hanging out. And of course, a good friend and co-host, Diggy. Got any good words or words of wisdom for the people today?
Oh, no, I want to apologize about the camera thing to you. It evidently fixed itself out. It just updated, like I said, right before we started this thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess it just was still going, but it seems to work fine now. So thanks for not ruining my computer. As far as everybody else, good luck this week. Any game day, anybody can win. So if you're playing somebody tough, you think you don't stand a chance, don't worry about it. Everybody always has somebody they lose to that they think they shouldn't. So anybody can win at any time. And like we've seen with a lot of these games, some of these coaches are putting in playbooks, putting in the time, running sims and scouting. And at the same time, when the game day comes, the game may not choose the play you wanted to run at the time you wanted to run it. So it's everybody stands a chance at any time. So there's a lot of season left. Even if you're 0-4, there's still plenty of game time left. People have done it. So don't get your hopes up and throw the season in the trash can yet. So.
Indeed. Any given sim day. That's what we always say. But looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week, y'all. But until then, stay safe, treat each other well. For Diggy, Striker, we're out.